was working for the party. Remember that time there was Freedom House, where the
for the sake of the viewers and listeners out there, which party are you talking about?
I'm talking of the United National Independence Party unit.
Okay.
That time, if you even see Freedom House here along Kai Road, where I was working for the administration of the party. From there, when the party lost elections, the administration of the party could not continue at the Freedom House. For me, my political life continued, and I stood for elections in the Central Committee of the United National Independence Party in 2000, and I was chairperson for local government and housing. I continued. In 2001, I stood as a parliamentarian in the Mlanzi constituency in the Katete district.
Okay.
And won the elections.
All right.
That is my background.
Okay, thank you so much. So before we continue, probably maybe the viewers and the listeners out there, they would also want to.
Yes, lower primary education. That time. I passed away and went to Mlanzi Mission School. And from Mlanzi Girls Primary School, I went to St. Monica's Girls Secondary School in Chipata. And I did my Form 2 at St. Monica's Girls. Then my upper secondary school, I did it at Runda Secondary School. And finished at Banda Secondary School. After my school, I joined the Freedom House as a clerical officer actually at that time, and rose with the ranks until I became a director officer. You know, there were equivalent ranks that were used in that Freedom House. My main functions there were, at that time I was a very good minister. I was taking minutes of very important conferences in UNIP. Taking minutes of the National Council, the conference of the General Congress, many meetings anyway. In 1980, I was sent to the People's Republic of Bulgaria, where I obtained a diploma in political science at the Academy of Social Sciences, Sofia. So right now, that is what I can say. I have an educational background.
Okay.
And even these small courses I've done quite a lot. At NIPA, I did public administration. I went to Nairobi, also did the business administration. Small courses have been taking place in between my working time.
Sure. So, Mama, at the start of this interview, you did mention that your father did play a critical role in shaping your political career. So, what are some of the attributes that you remember about your father, and how did he encourage you to pursue politics as your career?
Yes, my father is actually a key to my political career, because at that time when they were doing the freedom fighting, he was the longest serving constituency chairman in the Runda Central constituency. And for me, I was active wherever I went. I would be there when he's doing meetings and so forth. When some ministers or ministers of state at that time were visiting Runda, I was there. And so my father gave me a lot of encouragement to continue to trajectory. And I was doing my own activities now in politics just there in Runda. And I do remember in 1975, I was the youth chairman there in the district. And I remember going on the plane for the time with the Secretary General of the party to the first independence of Mozambique in Maputo. So I started a long time ago politicking, and my interest in community, and that is why I have been active in politics.
Thank you so much. So, dear viewers and listeners, you are watching on Parliament TV and radio, and this is Life After Parliament program. Today, I'm privileged to speak to Madam Rosemary Banda. She is former member of Parliament as well as a former Minister of Gender and Development. So, Madam, as we proceed, the viewers and the listeners of this program would want to find out from you, how was your journey to Parliament?
My journey to Parliament started in 2001 when I won the elections. And what motivated me, as I've said, I have a very big interest to work for the people's progress in communities. Unfortunately, I won that election, and looking at the Mlanzi constituency, it was really dark at that time. I said dark because it was very undeveloped. This is a constituency which is very rural, situated in Gatete, south of Gatete, bounded with Mozambique, and west of, also east of Chipata. This is a constituency which belongs to the Luangen constituency, and Mkaika here, Sina there. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that Mlanzi is a rural constituency.
Yes.
So, what are some of the things that you remember you managed to achieve at the time you were a member of Parliament?
What I found in Mlanzi, in a very bad state, actually, I must say. It is a place where I found little girls getting married, education was not a concern at that time. And so this motivated me to start talking about education in that constituency. And hence my fight to make sure that the educational infrastructure is achieved in that place. And this is why I fought to build the Kafungi Secondary School, and that is the only government school in the Gatete district. I fought for that school attraction for those small girls who were rushing into marriage, to see the importance of education. So that school was established, plus so many other small schools which I helped build and also rehabilitate or upgrade, in those days. There are so many.
Okay.
So the situation there was very, very backward, to say the least. And not only that, there was no electricity in the Mlanzi constituency. And from Gatete schools to Mlanzi constituency, it's quite distant, about 32 kilometers or so. So I managed to make sure that electricity reaches the Mlanzi constituency using that school, Kafungi Secondary School. And this, by the way, was through the World Bank where I fought from. It was the World Bank which built that school. I went back, fought for electricity, and went to Mlanzi. Today, this is the electricity which has also reached Anida border everywhere in the Mlanzi constituency, where people now are privileged to have, grinding mills where they can, grind their mill near. Because of that electricity, it brought a lot of relief to the people in the Mlanzi constituency.
Okay.
Apart from that, that time, the water was the problem. I did a lot of water boreholes, and some dams which I worked on, like Kasamana Dam there in Kagoro. The dams in that area are very, very important because of the cattle. Yeah. Especially these areas where there is climate change. We have a lot of problems in that we have a very difficult time with animals, nowhere to drink water. So at that time when I tried my best to do some little dams, it really assisted. Yeah.
Okay. So as we continue, what are some of the challenges that you faced as you tried to represent the people of the Mlanzi constituency at your time?
The challenges that I faced at this time, as I'm telling you, there were not enough schools, there was no secondary school, there was nothing. Health-wise, even the clinics were not there, which we tried to put here and there. And because the working atmosphere there was very good between the ruling party and the government. So you'd be able to go to government and, get development into your constituency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me bring you back to Parliament. How was your experience when you entered Parliament for the first time, and how was the atmosphere from other members of Parliament? How did they welcome you?
So, as you know, Parliament is a mixture of many people from this country, and when we meet there, we are friendly people. I think as women we are very few, as usual. So, for me, I came there head on that I'm a member of Parliament, just like a man who is a member of Parliament. So I went to do my job there, and which I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a time where you felt like maybe let me resign as member of Parliament because of maybe how I'm treated in the household by some other reasons?
There was no time when I felt like resigning from Parliament, because what I did was to do my job for the benefit of the people of Mlanzi and for this country as a legislator. And to tell you the truth, in the Parliament there, we share opinions, we share views, and we debate together and so forth and so forth. And I know that at that time, even if we are few members of Parliament, I still remember members of Parliament women who were very vibrant actually. We had the Honorable Sylvia Masebo, who is now a member of Parliament for Chongwe. We have the current Vice President, who was a member of Parliament for Kaputa. The Honorable Nkari Rumango. We had the Honorable Edith Nawaki, may her soul rest in peace. We had the Speaker, especially of the National Assembly, Honorable Musa Manawamba. The man really controlled the House with authority, and real things went on very well. For the men, I can't remember many, but I'm just remembering women who made an impact in Parliament. Honorable Narubango, Honorable Sylvia Masebo, Honorable Nawaki, you know. Those are the women that when they speak in Parliament, you know someone is now debating. They have really carried on well, actually.
Okay. Is there any committee you were sitting on, and would you share with viewers and listeners of this?
I think I can't remember the committee, but I think I was in the committee of information. I can't remember. No.
Yeah.
But I do remember that many times I sat on the select committee when you were looking for, we're confirming appointments and so forth. Yeah.
Maybe you can also run us through your appointment as Deputy Minister and also subsequent appointment as Minister of Gender Development.
At that time, when I was a member of Parliament, I was a member of Parliament on the ticket of the United National Independence Party unit. Somewhere in the middle, President Mwanawasa, State Council, saw it fit to have ministers from the opposition because there were some areas with no members of Parliament from MND. Some areas. So, President Mwanawasa thought some of us would be able to be appointed as minister. And members of us were, a few of us were approached. It was myself and Lucas Honorable Sylvia Masebo herself, because that time she was a Republican Party member of Parliament. So for me, because I had consulted my party, it was not just like going on. So my party had the meeting with the President of the State House, and where they agreed that yes, you can appoint Honorable Rosemary Banda to ministerial position.
So the party
yes. So the party agreed, and then I was appointed deputy minister in the office of the vice president, where I worked under Dr. Nevas Mumba. Later on, Dr. Mumba was dismissed. I worked under Rupano Mwake. Consequently, I was asked to go to MMD. That's what I was told, to go to MMD so that I could work for the party, especially in the Eastern Province. And that's how now I crossed over to MMD, and we had a by-election, which I won again. So, when I won that by-election, just coming back, I was appointed as the first gender minister in the Republic, yes. That gender minister was established, and as you know, it has achieved a lot in the women's activities. The gender minister was meant to see how best we can, for example, to many members of parliament, for women to be interested in politics, to stand as members of parliament, to stand as councillors, to be appointed to key positions. And this is why when I was gender minister, we had focal persons in each ministry to see how those ministries are balancing in the appointments, in the activities. And so far so good, because it is at that time that worked out a gender policy that is working even at this moment in this country. So, although it has been scrapped as a minister, I'm sure that the activities are still continuing, because it's now under the office of the president.
Right.
My hope is that in the future, perhaps it may be reinstated, because it is a very, very important ministry. Look, even now we don't have many members of parliament. The Minister of Gender used to help to see how women can come together and do ABC. It used to help, actually.
Okay, thank you so much, dear viewers and listeners. This is Life After Parliament, a program right here on my favorite channel, Parliament TV and Radio. And today I'm speaking to Mrs. Rosemary Banda. She is former Mlanzi constituency and member of Parliament. Madam, now let's now look at the Life After Parliament. How was, when you left the Parliament, how did you adjust from being a public person to become a private person?
To me, adjustment is not a problem. Because even as I was going into parliament, I knew that these are politics. You lose and you win. Two things. So when you have lost elections, you must know that you have dropped. And first of all, my background is that when things go wrong, you have to put them right. In this case, when I lost the seat, me as a political guy, doesn't mean that when I lost that seat, I left the politics. No. In fact, I was a member of the National Executive Committee. Straight after being appointed Minister of Gender, I became now a member of the National Executive Committee of the MMD. So it means I was still active in politics. But my enormous little businesses kept me going. In 2009, I was appointed to the Japan, and I was there for 3 years until government changed again when I was recalled by President Sata. Even after that, I still needed adjustments, and I continued. As you can see, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Living well.
not living well as such, but I'm here.
Okay.
And when you do your politics, no problem.
Okay, so Madam Rosemary Banda, is there something that you miss of being a minister?
Naturally, you miss to be a member of parliament, you miss to be a minister, because the people that you are representing, when you look from afar now, you can clearly see that there things would have been like this, which are not there. Because when we go into these rural constituencies, we have a vision. We have seen a forest in the constituency. So a vision must be there. What do I do in order to upgrade the living standards of these people? That is what I miss. Because the time was too short to accomplish what I need to accomplish. Otherwise, you miss it as a minister, because I think that if I was around a bit, I would have contributed a bit to this country. Yeah, in my own small way. I think that I would have contributed.
Alright, so after leaving Parliament, what are you doing right now?
Right now, as you know, I do my little businesses here and there, some small business, some farming anyway. That's what I do, nothing more.
And how do you start your day, since you are no longer a busy person?
I'm no longer a busy person, so I sleep. I wake up in the morning. The first thing is to greet your husband. By the way, my husband was Major General Banda, who was the deputy commander of the army at that time, also removed during the change of government. I greet my husband. I wake up. I go around the gardens and ask how my children are. I normally ring all of them, or they ring me, my grandchildren. That is normal. And so life goes on.
Mama, I know the weather is not our best ally, but we try by all means to at least share information with the members of the public out there. So maybe, probably, what's a word of encouragement to some young girls or even women who want to aspire to members of parliament, to be ministers, just like your way?
I would like to say that, you see, our young women must be proactive. These men will not give us a chance just to walk into parliament. You have to be aggressive. You have to be determined. You have to fight. But the reputation in this country is that we have so many parties. Now, even if you are 20 political parties and each one adopts women, I'm sure I would get some seats. But in most cases, they adopt men. But I want the young women there, when they are aiming constituency, they must go on the ground there. Things don't come in a silver platter, sorry. They must go on the ground and see whether they can manage to do that constituency. Because in the rural constituencies, there are many challenges. You need a lot of energy to do some of those things. Yeah.
And how do you view women's participation from the 2000?
During our time, I feel that we were very, very serious. I'm sure there is a reduction in the young women now they are trying to participate in politics. Maybe we don't encourage them enough, but I've seen that there is a difference. There was a lot of noise during our time, a lot of slogans, women and what have you. But now we are just speaking, women, women. But women are also fewer in parliament, By this time, I'm sure we would have had a lot of members of parliament. The mixed parliament, what do they call it? It is encouraged. But don't rush at just being nominated to parliament because of this mixed situation.
Yes.
No, don't rush to that. Because when you rush to that, first of all, you have no constituency. What you should look at is that we are supposed to work for the people. We are mothers. And the way we approach the constituency is in a different way from men. Because we look at mothers, we look at the young people, and we plan now according to the situation that we see in that constituency, how we can do things. There are a lot of things that you can do outside the constituency development fund, outside what the government can give you to develop the constituency. There are a lot of things. For example, young people need recreation. You can use your sense and see what young people must be doing. All those things they can do. Some little things, there are little things that the government does not provide, which you can do in a constituency. All those things. And that is a woman who can do that. Because gentlemen, I know they also work, but a woman, if she wants to put an effort to a constituency, I'm sure it impacts.
Okay. So when people remember Banda, former member of parliament for Mlanzi constituency, what comes in your mind? What do you think those people talk about you? Do they talk positive or negative things about you?
Oh, I wouldn't do praise. that is self-praise, but suffice to say that as far as I'm concerned, in the Mlanzi constituency, I did my best. And even as a minister, especially when I was deputy minister in the office of the vice president, I navigated this country, as you know, disaster management and what have you. So I played my little part, if I may say. So for remembering me, my works, which I left when I was living as a member of parliament, will show. Because the works that I did, that nobody can rub even up to now. Yes.
As we can see, it's about rain. Are you involved in some kind of farming?
Yes, I'm involved in some farming.
Okay.
I have a farm in Mumba where we are doing some farming there. Yeah.
Okay. And
even in Katet, yeah.
All right. As we are almost coming towards the end of our interview, there's been a cry from your fellow former parliamentarians that they need some form of assistance after leaving parliament. Are you buying into?
Of course I do, because I know that the neighboring countries, if I can give you an example of Kenya, they do not want a member of parliament after leaving parliament. They just, and many members of parliament, you may not see them now because they have nowhere to stay, they have just got nothing. Therefore, some countries have that when you land into parliament, parliament must make sure that you have a house. Parliament must make sure after parliament, what do you do? That is what we say, social protection for leaders. It is not here in this country. That's why you see, even professionals in other disciplines, they are destitute after that, because there is no social policy. So I support that leaders must have a social policy after leaving parliament. How does parliament look after its former members of parliament? Did they prepare them when they are in parliament? If they did not prepare them, what policy is in place? It's very, very important. Because it's very embarrassing to see a member of parliament now has gone back to go and do gardening, and when you release someone knows you are just a member of parliament. So it's better to go and rectify those things.
How vibrant were you in the National Assembly?
I was very vibrant.
Okay. The issue of collective responsibility in decision-making in Parliament is very cardinal. But we've seen members of Parliament who would want to sway away. Was that also a scenario at your time where a member of Parliament for Mlanzi? And how was the reaction from other members of Parliament?
No, in my time, I think that when you stand as an opposition, you stood together until when I crossed to government. Also in government, I had to fight for the motion, government side, because now I was in government. For example, there was that motion of impeachment, you remember? To impeach President Mlanzi. Remember? So, the government stand was to defend. The opposition side wanted the president to be impeached. So we had to prepare for that. Although when we went to State House, they said we are going to choose 10 people to begin this debate. But we are not going to mention anybody. We are going to inform you on the floor of the House. And when I just said, even if I am not a part of that group, I am going to participate in that debate. So I just prepared some notes. But when we reached the House, in the chambers, certainly I was told that I'm part of those 10, and Sylvia myself. There were just two women there, me and Sylvia, to debate against that motion. And we made it, we debated, we facts. So normally you cannot go the other way when your colleagues are going the other way. That is not how things operate. You can imagine your government bench, you are going to side the opposition. Politics don't work like that. No, anywhere in the Commonwealth. If you don't want the motion, just simple as that.
All right. Now, as you can see, the heavens are about to open, and I think this gives you an opportunity to go in your garden and do one or two things. Probably your concluding remarks after Parliament.
My concluding remarks are that as we lead the people in Zambia at any levels, whether member of parliament, state councils, it's important to pay we are representing. Because some of us, when we come to Lusaka, it is they came to stay. You don't go back to see the challenges people are facing where you have come from. It is important to go back and see what people's needs are, and see where they can be in a position to assist. As I go ahead in this life of politics, I think that I'll be able to. I've been mentoring some young women who are in the field right now, and I want to continue to encourage them, because you see, what is stimulates a person to go into these things. It is their wish, their desire. Nobody sends someone to judge just join politics. But all I can say is that do not join politics because you want to go and make money or whatever. Instead of just telling people what would you want to council, no, go there and see. Then you'll be able to make it. As for me, from the constituency I came about that enough. I can say that God willing, as we go ahead, we hope that we can do better as leaders.
Honorable Rosemary, Banda, thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you very much.
As you can see, the heavens are about to open, and we'll give you that opportunity maybe in the afternoon or tomorrow to get busy in your garden, plant one or two plants.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, that was Life After Parliament program right here on your favorite channel, Parliament TV and radio. And today we came to visit former Mlanzi constituency member of Parliament, Madam 2001. These are members of the country as well as our Parliament diligently. On behalf of Longo as well as our transport officer, Mr. Hachi Chibamba, I am Joe Muyunda Akatama. Continue listening and watching Parliament TV and radio as we continue to bring Parliament closer to you.